I'm going to have to advise you not to believe what you hear tonight, or from any other source for that matter, at any time. Listen to everyone, read everything, believe nothing unless you can prove it in your own research.
12. On Sundays, Nancy Leader publishes the Zeta Talk free newsletter for all those interested. And unlike the socialist security system where there's a gun to your head and you are forced to participate, there's no gun to your head to read anything on Nancy's website, but if you do, there's a reward. You might know the truth for a change. This week is particularly interesting because she publishes the path of Planet X, Nibiru, Wormwood, Nemesis, the Destroyer, whatever you call this blazing hot star with 7 planets that looks like a comet with wings. This week you're going to get a chance to see the path. Planet X has been showing up on Soho images, and NASA doesn't know how to deal with it. They've been airbrushing it out, and it keeps coming back like a persistent yeast infection, which makes husbands annoyed. Now, if they're airbrushing it out, is it because it's not there or because it is there? You decide. It's hard to make a Soho image look natural when you have tampered with it. Some people know that you've been altering the images. SOHO is the Stereo-Optical Telescope, or Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. It watches the sun with a pair of binoculars, giving it binocular vision, which means you can tell the distance of something just by the difference in the two perspectives. Now, they've been publishing SOHO images for quite a while, and they've been airbrushing them for quite a while too. But sometimes they make mistakes, and they allow you to see something they don't want you to see, something that is not there because they airbrushed it out. Now, if it's not there, why did they airbrush it out? That's what I'm asking. Google takes a big chunk of the sky out of the image that you see. Why? Some stars are cut in half, shining brightly on one half and obviously black on the other side, meaning that the whole frame has been altered. Why? If it's not there, why did you cut it out of the picture? Maybe it is there. You know, we can figure stuff out. We're not quite as dumb as you think, you bunch of Nazis. Since NASA controls all these publicly funded astronomical devices, the last thing you're ever going to get from them is the truth. So don't shift your rants when you look up in the sky and see something the size of a full moon, because I'm telling you about the Zeta Talk newsletter, which has been putting out real news for several years, and is public enemy number 3, right behind Julian Assange and Bradley Manning, because the truth must not be told to anyone. When the government wants you to know something, they will tell you. Until then, go to work and keep paying the IRS because you are a slave. Yeah, dirtbag. What do you think this is anyway? I'm going to link you up with the free newsletter, and if you want to go there, you can. And if you want to stick around and hear my slandering, blistering, caustic, and accusational attack on the Queen and her minions, then grab a chair and let's get on with the show, shall we? We've been talking about Planet X, and I've been saying, why panic unless you see it in the sky? If it's real, you're going to be seeing it real soon. And don't believe any of this garbage from Obama that it's Beetlejuice going supernova, because that's about as believable as his fake birth certificate or his love for our country. He might love Kenya, but I don't think he loves our country, the USA, or our people, the Americans. Not by all the executive orders he's been signing. Each one circumvents Congress and the people, and we don't like it one bit. NASA is one arm of this regime, and we don't like being lied to about Planet X either. If it's not there, why in the hell did you airbrush it out of the SOHO pictures? Why did you order Google Earth to remove it from their sky images? Did you think that would arouse any suspicion, you stupid Nazis? Is it there? Tell us the truth. The Zetas are telling us that Planet X is real, and they have a lot of pictures to prove it. They have the chutzpah to publish an image showing the path that it has taken from a moving planet. That moving planet would be the Earth, dirtbags, if you haven't figured out which planet you're on. Read a book once in a while, okay? One dirtbag says, Earth, I've heard of it, but I don't know where it is. Did you ever watch Jay Leno on the streets interviewing common people? Some of these people don't know who the puppet president is or what country they live in. Is it the fluoride? Talk about a Teflon brain. Look up Teflon. It's made of fluorine. From the Earth, an object coming in from the direction of Orion. Orion is a constellation. That's where you find Orion's belt. 3 stars right in the middle at the waist area. Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mantaka. When that object is coming in, it's a moving target. And when the Earth is going around the sun, it's a moving target, and the path is going to look a little bit weird. It will appear in different spots over the years. And here is an image to show you where it was and when it was there. Can you see it? Okay, it's very near now, and we are about 70% of the way through this cataclysm. And soon it will pass, and you can use your ticket to the underground bunkers to save your butt. What? You didn't get yours? There must be some mistake. Everyone got one. You didn't get your ticket to the underground bunker? Well, I'll be an alien's cousin. I wonder why you didn't get yours. I got mine. Did you say something bad about the fascist government? Did you pay your taxes? Was there anything in your emails derogatory about the government? You are voting for Obama or Romney, aren't you? Gotta pick the lesser of two evils. Well, if you promise to be a good slave and pay the IRS, I'll see what I can do for you. I'll talk to Drake. He has friends in high places. This July 4th, you're going to see some real fireworks. Oh, wait. July 4th has already passed. Did you see anything unusual? Me neither. Okay, forget about Drake. I know. I'll send Benjamin Fulford an email. He knows people at the Pentagon, the CIA. He knows the Queen, too. She offered him a $1,200 trillion bond. Honest. His friends are in the Dragons. That's an Asian gang. They have 100,000 assassins ready to kick butt. He called them off. Honest. Don't worry, you'll get a ticket to the underground, even if I have to play the Trump card and call Donald Trump. Even if I have to apologize for saying, "You're fired. You're fired." Look, we'll get you a ticket to the deep underground base, and you'll be free from disaster. Mark my word, before that tsunami comes in, you'll have your ticket. You'll be safer than a queen in her castle. That is, unless there's a tsunami wave coming in that's at least 3 miles high, like that insider said. Look, Planet X can't be here if the queen hasn't moved all of her prized possessions underground, can it? She already moved everything? When? Why didn't anyone tell me? I need to know these things. We must be close now. What is Nancy Leader saying about the pole shift? Oh my God, look at the crop circles. Wait a minute, something's weird about them. They don't look right. Look there at the lower right, it says they're all fakes. Where are the real crop circles? Ah, that's more like it. Look at the green one in the middle. Is that Planet X or what? Look at the ball on the wings. Is there one that depicts Planet X growing in size? There it is. That's what I want to see. Are these days or weeks? There are 60 of them. Are they showing us the last 60 days or the last 60 weeks? Is that the sun in the middle or the earth and the moon? Who drew these and why do they look so much better than the fake ones? Look, there's a gap in the stream of balls. Oh, I see. It's a green path there. You devil, you. That's Nibiru. Hey, debunkers, debunk this. What do you think? These aliens have nothing better to do than fly way out here on the fringes of this Milky Way galaxy to draw pictures in wheat fields? This is not a game. These aliens are serious. They know we're toast. All those on the coast will roast the most when the sun locks onto the Atlantic Rift and bakes New York City in noonday sun for 3 days. You'll have the sun's rays and Nibiru's rays. And 1/3 of the earth will be scorched, just like it says in prophecy. All you naysayers out there were saying, "Please don't say it, I don't want to face it." Say something positive, for God's sake. Okay, how about this? When the big wave comes in, it'll be 3 miles high. You can run for cover, but you're still gonna die. The end is near, so stock up on beer. The elite have bunkers for the perverts and the old hags, but useless eaters are not invited because you're a dirtbag. I have my ticket and I'm gonna be saved. We'll have lots of fresh fruits and all the things you crave. Paid for by your taxes because you're nothing but a slave. Be sure to let us know when you see the big wave. Some of us tried to warn you, but you missed all the cues. We told you to stock up and now you have the blues. You relied upon your leaders to bring you the latest news. They forgot to warn the people. That's too bad. You lose. Let's focus on the image for a minute while I explain something. When you were a kid, maybe you rode on the merry-go-round. That's like the earth going around the sun. It's like a merry-go-round. And on the merry-go-round, the kid watches his parents. They're in one position watching their kid to make sure he doesn't fall off like a dirtbag. So, as a kid, you went around the merry-go-round and you watched your parents and you noticed they kept changing position. Every time you changed position, they changed positions relative to you. If you were moving around a focal point, your parents' position appeared to change. But it didn't, really, because they were standing in one place. Now, Planet X is not your parents. It's a constellation, perhaps, a blazing hot star and 7 planets, as the insider who watched it on Nibiru reports. And we have to consider that first-hand testimony. It's valid in court, whereas hearsay is not. He says, I watched it. And he says it was millions of degrees. He says it was a star and 7 planets and 1 trillion dust particles. Now this thing is coming in, and you're going around the merry-go-round. Is the position of Planet X going to change? It's going to change for 2 reasons. Because the Earth is moving around the sun, and because the object itself, whatever it is coming in. So when you look at this map, be realistic. This is not a hoax. These aliens are telling us this is the path. When you look at a picture of the path, and you take into account that the object itself is moving, it's changing its position, and the Earth and our perspective is also changing our position, you have to process this in your brain. Now, your brain is pretty amazing, but not if they put fluoride in your drinking water. That poisons your brain and you can't think clearly. That's why Jay Leno's interviews reveal a very dumbed-down American population. People who don't even know who the puppet president is or which country they live in. We have a president who doesn't even know that there are 50 states. He thinks there are 53. He's counting Puerto Rico, Guam, and Israel. So don't drink government water. And don't drink bottled water because it came from the same faucets. Fluoridation is in all of it. In 84% of the cities in America. And if you boil the water, only 20% of the fluorine is removed. I thought it was all removed by evaporation, but it's not. If you can catch rainwater and drink that, you might save your brain. Now, every single person in this society, every single person on this planet should be doing his own research to find the truth and then tell others what you find. But they have the people so dumbed down that most people are not even capable of recording their own voice. They can't even click record. They can't download a simple program called Audacity, click record, plug in their mic, and start talking. They can't do it. It's over their head. It's too difficult. Now, this fluoridation is very serious stuff. If your brain still functions, get a search engine up on the screen, google.com, type in fluoridation, and start reading. And then try to avoid fluorine, because Hitler used it to control those in the concentration camps before he gassed them in the gas chambers. The same thing is going to happen here. And if you've been paying attention to the executive orders and the news about the FEMA camps, you know what's going on. Find the truth and spread it for the sake of humanity. Now, if you're a kid on the merry-go-round and your parents are watching you, that's great. When you grow up, you'll be watching Planet X. Some of you kids have already grown up and you're watching Planet X coming in. Now Planet X is speeding up as it comes in because it's falling toward the sun, but it's not going to hit the sun and it's not going to hit the Earth. The debris is. Now you got binary star systems all over the galaxy. Most star systems are binary. Two stars orbiting around each other. They don't fall into each other every time. Eventually they do. Eventually. But this thing, if it is a star, if it does have 7 planets around it, it orbits around our sun. And it affects all of the planets. It perturbs their orbit. And it has a long dust cloud tail, which is made up of all the debris it swept up while in the Kuiper Belt. Those who have seen this debris on the Hubble Space Telescope say that there are literally trillions of particles in that tail. And the average dust particle is an iron rock that weighs 70 pounds. But don't get the idea that they're all average, because some are smaller and some are much larger. The insider said that when this thing passes by the Earth, the debris in the tail will make rivers turn red as if they were filled with blood. But actually, it's iron that turns the rivers and lakes blood red, and the land as well. Do you know what makes blood red? Iron in the hemoglobin. Stop drinking the fluoridated water and you might have known that. Fluorine is not good for your teeth, especially when ingested. The prophecy says that the lakes and rivers will turn blood red, and they are not implying that there will be bloodshed that will turn them red. It's the iron picked up from the Kuiper Belt that turns lakes and rivers blood red. This object moves slowest through the Kuiper Belt, fastest near our sun. And so it spends most of its time out there in the Kuiper Belt, picking up hitchhikers, loading up, and when it comes around to our neck of the woods, it brings all that trash with it. A lot of debris. Has a long tail, millions of miles long. And when that tail sweeps by the Earth, we're going to get a shower of hail of 70-pound rocks. Now please don't write me and tell me that this object is going to hit the Earth. I didn't say that. It whizzes past the Earth. It never comes closer than 20 million miles. The tail sweeps by the Earth and we'll get a shower of debris. We could also get hit by one of the larger pieces. Some are 500 miles across. So don't bet your life that all of the hail in that tail that rains down on Earth will be 70-pound rocks. If a large rock, say 20 miles across, lands in the Atlantic Ocean, Europe and America are finished. Nobody knows exactly what will happen. Nobody knows exactly when. We will just have to wait and see. Nancy Leader says that the Zetas told her that when the iron falls to the Earth, it will promote algae growth in the oceans, and that the oceans will be full of fish. Do you like to fish? Your breath smells like fish. So if you have a boat and you like to fish, you're going to love Planet X and its 3-mile-high tsunami waves. Fishing will be good. The problem is there won't be anyone left to tell your tall fish stories to. If the wave that comes in doesn't get them, the wave that goes out will certainly drag them and all the cars and buildings out to sea. And I don't see many surviving unless they are underground. You sure you didn't get your ticket? You think maybe you could find a way to sneak into the underground bunkers? They're only 4 kilometers down. They're the size of a city, you know, stocked with food and water to last for years. It's really too bad you didn't get a ticket. But I can understand. Space is limited, and they only had room for the beautiful people like Hillary Clinton and Obama. Al Gore, Bill Gates, and the Queen are in, and you, dirtbag, you're out. They don't want your kind taking up precious space. You're a useless eater, and they don't need your kind. I guess they forgot that they're parasitic on us. I'm not sure who is going to support them if they allow their host to die. But that's how they planned this. They only had so much money to build those bunkers, and they built them as quick as they could. The boring machines were working every day for decades. They can now bore about 7 miles per day. They used nuclear blasts on porous rock to make those cities underground, and the IRS hounded everyone to fork over the money so the elite could be safe when Planet X passes. Now, it will never be closer than 20 million miles from Earth. 20 million miles from Earth. Planet X is not going to hit the Earth, but one of the particles might. In fact, there might be a lot of particles from the tail that come down into our atmosphere like hail. A lot of them will burn up as they hit the atmosphere because the atmosphere has friction, and it will take off pieces of this thing as it's coming in, and by the time it reaches the land or the sea, it will probably be burned up, but it will be one hell of a light show. We don't need 70-pound iron rocks falling to Earth like hail. That's going to cause some insurance claims, I think, especially if one falls on the hood of your car traveling at 10 kilometers per second. The heat from that impact would melt your car. Actually, there's enough kinetic energy in one of those 70-pound iron rocks traveling at 10 kilometers per second to melt an entire block. I'm talking about rock and soil turning into glass. If the impact turns earth into lava and melts the steel in your car, what do you think it'll do to you and your passengers? It will be like sitting on a volcano when it goes off. I've been to Hawaii and I've been near the lava flows, and you can't take the radiated heat from that rock. It's like a blast furnace. It's too intense. It's like 10 times more intense than sunlight on your skin. You feel like you're frying. You have to get away from it. Now imagine that you're right in the middle of that. You won't last long. So if a 70-pound iron rock comes down at 10 kilometers per second, you're finished if it lands near you. Anywhere near you. If it lands a mile from you, the heat will cook you. I have stupid people writing me telling me that they have a garden and they can survive the passing of Planet X. Well, if all Planet X did was pass, maybe we could all survive it. But the tail is going to rain down hail, and the debris is deadly. So don't take on this ignorant point of view that you're going to have a garden and you're going to be able to survive the passing of Planet X. People who say this have no idea what it will be like to have the tail of this thing passing our way and raining down small and large iron rocks on us, turning cars into molten iron like thermite. Thermite only reached 4,700 degrees Fahrenheit, and the rocks traveling at 10 kilometers per second could reach temperatures of 1,000,000 degrees. So do the math, the physics. Calculate the kinetic energy in one rock, and calculate the energy in various size rocks, and see what you come up with. Then calculate how much energy there is in one rock that's 500 miles across. You will see why the underground bunkers are kind of nice. Are you sure you didn't get your ticket? Did you check your mailbox today? Why don't you go check? I'll wait. No ticket? That's too bad. What are you going to do, dirtbag? Do you have a shovel? Maybe you could dig your own bunker after you get off work from your second job. They've got us all so poor that people have to work 2 jobs just to survive. And they can't stand it if you have a little extra money, so they charge you $4 a gallon for gasoline. And they don't give any discounts for those who lost a loved one in these unnecessary wars. They treat you like you're a dirtbag. It's your duty to die in wars over oil. The Queen needs free oil, and she's willing to send all you young people to war so she can have free oil. And the parents of those who die in the useless wars get the bill for the wars. Boy, the Queen's got it made, doesn't she? And your leaders in government are making a killing off of the contracts for war materials. They're just making a killing off the bloodshed. That's the world we live in. Now, does it need changing? Of course. And what are you doing besides waiting around for Drake and Benjamin Fulford to save your butt? You're waiting for the aliens to land and save you, right? Well, you're so busy waiting for Drake and waiting for Benjamin Fulford and waiting for the aliens that you don't have time to make any videos and tell the world the truth. The aliens come here, they make crop circles that tell you what's going on, and what do? You say they're all hoaxes. You want the aliens to go to war for you. They have nothing better to do than fly across the galaxy and get entangled in a war to save you, right? Dream on. I think somebody's putting fluorine in your drinking water. Fulford has no power and no connections to anyone who's important. And the CIA doesn't need him to discover who's in the Committee of 300. Drake has been played like a piano, and he's been set up again and again, and if he can't learn, you ought to, and realize that Drake has no friends in high places, and the military isn't going to overthrow the Nazis, so you can just return to drinking beer and watching ball games. Maybe this image is real, and maybe Planet X is coming in. These aliens are not wasting their time bringing you these facts and making crop circles to tell you what's in store for planet Earth. An image is worth 1,000 words, and they chose to draw pictures for us in the crop fields. And it's pretty easy to tell a hoax from a real crop circle. The real crop circles have a crispness, a clarity that the hoaxes don't. That's because we haven't perfected the art of drawing crop circles. And no matter what language you speak, a picture conveys the idea universally. There's Earth in the middle with the moon going around it, and there's 60 planet X's, and each one is larger than the one before. Does that tell you anything? The aliens are knocking on your door saying, you better get out, the house is on fire. Now where is your ticket to the underground bunker? Are you sure you didn't get it? Check all your pockets. Did you put your shirt in the laundry? Maybe it's in the laundry. Call the Department of Homeland Security and speak with a German accent. Tell them you're a Nazi. Ask them, where is my ticket to the underground bunker? I want to be saved. You sure you didn't get that ticket? So you think the aliens are just goofing off when they fly all the way over to this part of the galaxy and put down a nice picture in the wheat fields to convey the idea that you're toast? Our government won't inform us, but the aliens are. Now, is it that far-fetched that Nancy Leader and the Zetas are bringing you the truth? I'm not sure that Planet X is there, but I'll tell you this, when I see it in the sky, I will know it's not a Betelgeuse supernova. I've been reading this webpage for a decade almost, and it's real, it's truthful. It's not Benjamin Fulford, and it's not Drake, and it's not the Galactic Federation of Light with their praise for Obama and their promise of Nasara funds. Now know the difference between a hoax and the real deal. After this much time has passed, you have to be looking at this as a serious situation, and if anyone was running a hoax, they would not have longevity. And this has gone on for a decade now. It's real. And this is Nancy Leader's report with photos. There are sinkholes everywhere around the planet. That land is being ripped apart, and it's caving in. The sun and all the planets have an effect on the Earth and all the other planets. There's gravitational attraction between them, and there's also a magnetic attraction. And these forces cause the Earth's core to heat up. But when a huge object comes in, it disturbs everything. All the planets heat up. The tectonic plates shift, and one day soon, the Earth's crust will slip and move 6,000 miles in about 45, just like a magnet that jumps when another magnet comes near it. That means winds of 300 to 400 miles per hour. And if you've ever tried to hold on to anything when the wind is just 100 miles an hour, you know how difficult that is. I have a video about a French woman who was trying to hold on to a fence in, I think it was St. Martin. She let go of the fence and she went flying. She hit her head and got a cut on her head. The video is on YouTube. You can watch it. I did a video on it and I linked to it. Once your body begins to move, like when you're torn free from the fence, the wind just picks you up and you go flying. In a tornado, the winds are only 150 miles per hour. And that force picks up buses, cows, buildings, and gravity is easily overcome. Everything goes flying at winds of just 150 miles per hour. Now imagine winds of 300 to 400 miles per hour. The energy in the wind doubles with every 10 miles per hour increase. So how much more powerful is a 300 mile per hour wind than a 150 mile per hour wind? The difference is 150. Divide that by 10 and it's 15. So it's 2 to the 15th power. An enormous number. You can't hold on to a fence. The devastation that will be caused by the part of the earth that moves that far, that fast, will be like nothing you ever saw before. You know, when they tell you where the North and South poles are going to be in the future, they don't line up at exact opposites. You know why? Because the crust is going to move. What's going to be north and south are land masses that are not where they're going to be when the shift takes place. Now, if somebody travels across the galaxy, I would say they have advanced science. And I would say that our scientists are no match for those who flew across the galaxy, because we're not able to do that. And I think we should pay attention to this number, 2 to the 15th power. That's the difference in energy between a 150 mile per hour tornado and a 300 mile per hour wind that can sandblast your ass to dust in seconds. I get a lot of comments and direct messages from people who claim to be mathematicians, and they think they really know their stuff. But I am also a mathematician, and I tutored math for 9 years. And I'm telling you, a 300 mile an hour wind will sandblast your ass to dust. You can't imagine what it's like. I'm in Arizona and we have dust storms just before a rain, and the wind gets up to 50, 75 miles an hour. It fills my eyes with dust, and when the sand hits my skin, it feels like I'm being sandblasted. And that's a very mild wind compared to 300 miles per hour. Now, do your own homework and find out the truth yourself, and make a YouTube video and tell the world what you find, and then face all the challenges from all the pseudo-physicists and the pseudo-mathematicians who try to debunk you by telling you that this could never happen. They just have a hunch. That's the kind of arguments I get. I have a hunch. I had a dream. So if you have some skills in physics and mathematics, don't try to make your claim to fame here on my channel. Set up your own channel and tell the world the truth the way you see it. I'm telling the truth as I see it. I've been following Nancy Lieder's webpage for years. I found it to be very reliable. And all I want you to do is go there and read what she wrote over the years and see if any of it came true. Because she said Indonesia would sink, and it did sink. She said India will sink, and it is sinking right now. And she told a lot of things that would come, and I thought they were way beyond believable, and they are happening. When she said all of the volcanoes that have gone off in the last 10,000 years will go off again, I thought that is amazing if that happens, and it's happening. And I have learned that the government is not reliable for anything. And some of you people are writing to me telling me that the Earth's crust can't move. Well, I'm glad you know that. But the Zetas are telling me different. You aren't paying attention to the sinkholes that have been happening all over the planet where the land is being stretched. Here, a van fell into a sinkhole on the road. And there will be many more of these events as Planet X comes passing nearby the Earth, 20 million miles away. Swings past the Earth and goes back out to the Kuiper Belt, where it belongs. Some people ask, what can we do about it? And I say, you're already doing it. Nothing. Stop worrying. You can suck up to those who might get you a pass into the underground bunker. You can swing your support for Romney or Obama, 2 Nazis running for office, puppet president. Tell them you're ready to sell out your fellow Americans like Rand Paul did. But that's not going to save you, because they think of you as a dirtbag, a useless eater, and not worth saving. That's why you didn't get a ticket to the underground city. You're going to die on the surface of the Earth, along with me and everyone else who didn't get a ticket. And those who tell you that Planet X is just a myth have not read what I have read. They have not seen what I've seen, and they don't know what I know. And I've been studying this for a decade. And the message is not falling fainter, it's getting louder. And when I post a Planet X video, I get a tremendous number of video views. Do you think that these people are all fools? They know what's going on. They can feel it. I hear more and more people saying, I feel that something big is about to happen. It's surprising how many people are feeling this. All of the alien groups are saying that Earth changes are coming and we can't avoid it. Here they give you a map of the constellations, Orion, Taurus, and others. They show you the position of Planet X from our merry-go-round Earth, going around the sun, and the path looks weird, and that's what makes me think it's real. Do I know for sure? No, I don't. But by the number of views I'm getting, I would say the people are sensing something. Maybe it's all the volcanoes and tornadoes and hurricanes and bad weather and weird things going on. The sun is 3 degrees north of the Tropic of Cancer in July. It's supposed to be south of the Tropic of Cancer. I got a phone call yesterday from Pennsylvania. It's 104 degrees there. That doesn't happen often. So nobody knows if anything is real for sure, except, perhaps, those who came here on a saucer, and those of us who have a monopoly on the truth and they're not letting it out. And anyone who does let it out is chased down like an animal, Julian Assange and Bradley Manning. These people who are in control have full control of the truth, and we don't get any of it unless they decide that we need a little of the truth. Then they dole it out as frugally as they can, so they don't waste any on us, the useless eaters, the dirt bags. Nancy Lieder gave us the sequence of events a few years ago, and what she said would happen has already begun. She said Indonesia would sink 80 feet, and it did. She said India would sink, and it's sinking. On November 18, 2010, she put out the 7 of 10 video. And if you want to see it, you want to see the 10 steps in sequence, you can watch that video. But I'll tell you, it's very hard to understand. I've watched it several times and I still don't understand her use of the term fold and roll. And she does not make it clear enough for a moron to understand. If I don't understand, what's my IQ? Never mind. I'll tell you briefly what I got from the video, and then I'll give you the link so you can test your IQ. At 16 seconds into this video, she says that the sequence was given in November of 2009 by holography. The Greys, the Zetas, showed her a holographic image. And for all you dirtbags who don't know what a hologram is, it's light interference which creates an image in 3 dimensions. And the Zetas put on a show for her like television. Nancy said she was in attendance, whatever that means. I don't know where it was held, likely one of their spaceships. But here's the sequence she gives. The first thing that will happen is a tipping of the Indo-Australian plate. That happened. Second thing that will happen is Indonesia will sink. It did. And I've got pictures of kids playing in the streets that are waist deep. Then she said there would be a folding of the Pacific. A folding of the Pacific. That explains why Richard Branson from Virgin Airlines and James Cameron dived in submersibles to see the Mariana Trench closing. That's what she means by folding, perhaps. And then she says, number 4, the folding of the Pacific will cause South America to roll, whatever that means. Goodbye, South America. Maybe it's all over for you. Number 5, she said there will be a tearing of the South Atlantic Rift. And 6, this causes Africa to roll, again, this undefined term, not found in any geology book that I'm aware of. Number 7, the flow of the Mediterranean will drop. What does that mean? She said 8, will be great quakes in Japan, followed by 9, the New Madrid adjustment. Folks, that's right here in the USA, around Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, southern Illinois, southern Indiana area. That's the New Madrid fault line. So Japan quakes first, and then New Madrid after that. That's 8, 9, and number 10, immediately following the New Madrid adjustment, is the tearing of the Mid-Atlantic Rift, which means Europe should put their head between their legs and kiss their sweet asses goodbye. Remember the tsunami of December 26th, 2004? A gentle wave came in and killed 250,000 people. Well, this wave will be a little taller. How tall was the wave of the Sumatra tsunami of 2004? 20 feet high, maybe? This wave will be 200 feet high, and it will go right into the English Channel with the greatest force, 300 feet high, and it will completely wipe out Denmark, which is beyond the English Channel. But when the wave comes in and it climbs to 300 feet, it's just going to keep going, and it'll go all the way to Denmark, and it will wipe out Denmark. She said it will sweep right across Denmark. That means wiping out everything. And she said it will wipe out the lowlands of Germany also. This is not my prediction, and it's not her prediction. It's the Zetas. They're aliens. A wave that's 200 feet will knock down our tallest buildings, because water has a tremendous force when it's a tsunami wave. If it knocks down all the buildings when it comes in, what happens when it goes back out to sea? It drags everything with it. Cars, people, buildings, all the debris goes out to sea. What happens if you get caught between a car and a building? The force of that water pushing that car up against you and you pushing up against the building, guess who's going to lose? You'll be crushed. Do you remember the images of 2004? You saw people crushed between buildings and cars. 250,000 of them did not celebrate the New Year in 2007. They died 4 days before that. Now, we have only seen one such event. But what if your species had seen 1,000 of them? Would you know anything about tsunamis and plate movements and pole shifts and objects coming into a solar system? There are creatures from all over the galaxy coming here to see this event. It's a big deal for them. And I would bet Hillary's broom that these Zetas know what they're talking about. Don't worry, Hillary, I'm not going to gamble your broom away and make it impossible for you to fly away. These insects, the Zetas, are advanced. They're intelligent and they travel the stars. The website is zetatalk.com. And if you like to read, there is so much information there you can't read it even if you have 10 years. There are links on every page taking you anywhere you want to go. It's like being in a city and having a map, and when you put your finger on a place, you instantly go there. Like magic. So it's a luxury to go to her website and to be able to read all this stuff. And anything that interests you, you just click on the link and go there and read about that. It's all free. And Nancy has devoted tens of thousands of hours to bring it to you. Now, do you think that she's just goofing off? Or do you think that she's dedicated to something very important? If you read everything she's written and you still don't believe it, then your drinking water contains fluorine. Because all of her predictions are there with dates. And if they didn't happen, then this is a pretty strange event, because these aliens are accurate. I'm not saying they're perfect. Some things cannot be pinpointed with any accuracy. There's too many factors, too many variables. They know enough about science to get here from wherever they come from, Zeta Reticula. And if they aren't perfect, it's because nobody's perfect. So give them some room to be wrong occasionally. It's much better than Drake or Benjamin Fulford. There's no medium on this planet. Not James Van Praagh, Joseph Tittle, Jonathan Edwards. Nobody is accurate as much as these people are, these creatures. You may not like insects or reptiles. You might prefer that all the intelligent aliens are mammals, but we are only 10% of the total. Reptiles are 80%, and I don't know how many of the intelligent species are insects. I have questions. Why didn't more of them become galactic travelers? Are they too small usually? How do insects get to be as big as 4 feet tall? That's an enormous size insect. But if you want to know more about these people, let's call them people. If you want to know more about them, Nancy has tons written about them. Just tons of information. She tells about how they evolved and everything. Now, we learned from the Pleiadians that the larger the planet is, the smaller the people have to be to survive there. that largeness of a planet is not conquered by largeness of the species, but smallness works. That's what Ptah told Billy Meyer when he and Semyasi took Billy out into the galaxy and showed him various civilizations in space. I covered this in the series by Wendell Stevens, UFO Contact from the Pleiades. You can go to the playlist and bookmark it and come back here to finish here, or you can go there and watch the whole series. We're almost through here, but the playlist link is on your screen now in case you want to click it. This screen will pause and you can come back here and resume when you feel like it. Bookmark that one and come back here to finish and then go to that one. That's a good idea. So the Zetas have told us about 10 events which will take place, and we are at number 7. The 10 events of November 2009, holographic vision, were not given to Nancy in order. She put out a PDF file. It's 4.1 megabytes, and the link is on your screen now. You will have to copy the URL because YouTube does not allow links to websites. They only allow video links, apparently. If you want details about the pole shift, this 432-page PDF file that's on your screen right now covers the details. She covers violent winds, magnetic grip, the Earth's groaning, Atlantis, Mu, the days of darkness, maps which show the lands that will submerge and rise from the subducting tectonic plates and movement. If you had magnets floating on the surface and you brought another magnet nearby, you'd see some unusual things happening. And that's what's happening to the Earth. Another magnet is nearby. It has both magnetic and gravitational attractions. And so we're seeing a lot of heating up of the core. We're seeing a lot of plate movement, volcanoes, and earthquakes. If you travel the galaxies, and you've seen this before, studied it, and have a science that understands plate movement, then you'd be qualified to tell others about it. When Edgar Cayce began to tell others about Japan going into the ocean, Atlantis rising, and great earth changes, people were not ready to accept it. But today, it sounds a lot more believable because we're so much closer to this event. And that might be why people who have studied the Edgar Cayce predictions and people who see all of the earth changes that are taking place already, the sinkholes, the earthquakes, the volcanoes, etc., the weather, the government's campaign to make us believe that it's car exhaust that's causing global warming, when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together, you feel that the government's lying, and that all of these earth changes that are taking place fit into a pattern which is easily explained by Planet X. And that's why so many people want to see the videos on Planet X. And when it appears in the sky and you can see it with your own eyes, the government's going to have another campaign to explain what you're seeing. And it will be another lie. It'll be the supernova of Betelgeuse or some kind of baloney like that. Nancy Leader says that they're going to act surprised and say, oh, gee, we were looking way out in space for it, and here it is right here. There's no excuse for them not knowing about Planet X. No excuse whatsoever. Yet we're going to get nothing but excuses from them, because they don't want you to say, why didn't you tell us? You can't blame people for not being willing to accept this. The Earth has been stable for over 3,000 years. And this thing only comes around once every 3,600 years, roughly. 3,657 years is the average, according to the Zetas. How do they know? They have better science than we do. So I don't blame people for not believing it. I think it's pretty natural to reject anything as weird as an event that happens once every 3,600 years. But the fact is, we have earthquakes going off like crazy. We have volcanoes going off like crazy. We have sinkholes. We have bridges collapsing. We have buildings falling down for no apparent reason. The earth is singing. We hear a trumpet-like noise, and it's been recorded and played on YouTube. Now, what does all of this mean? It means that something is happening. What is happening? I can't tell you. But I'm an observer just like you are. And I think something is happening. It's not a sixth sense. It's one of the five senses that tell me. I hear the trumpeting on the video recordings. I see the sinkholes. Hearing and sight are two of my normal senses, and the information is coming in through my normal senses, not a sixth sense. And my mind is processing all of this information about volcanoes and earthquakes, and I say, maybe the Zetas are right. And I see the Soho images, and I say, maybe that is Nibiru, Planet X, Nemesis, the Destroyer, Wormwood, whatever you want to call it. What action do I want to take? The first thing I want to do is stop drinking government water, because I want to be able to think. Now, how do we stop them from putting poison in our water? It's rat poison. They put it in our water in order to appease us, turn us into docile creatures. And they sent Al Gore all over the world telling us lies, and then they gave him a Nobel Prize. And they have given Nobel Prizes to Obama and Hillary, and this is bullshit, frankly. It used to be an honor to get a Nobel Prize. Now it tells everybody that you're part of this Nazi fascist group. You're an insider into the worst gang the world has ever known. A group of people that would quickly sell out the entire human race and don't care about the planet Earth. Selfish, service-to-self people. And what do I recommend? I recommend that we spread the truth, because the truth will destroy them more completely and more peacefully than anything else that you have in your arsenal. Buying guns is not the answer. If you have heard the trumpeting noises from the videos, do whatever search you want. Earth noises, earth sounds, trumpeting, whatever. Listen to them and put that into the equation and see what you come up with when you put everything together. Global warming, earthquakes, volcanoes, trumpeting, sinkholes, bridges falling down, buildings falling down, flooding. Put it all together and see if what you come up with. What I come up with is Planet X might be possible. I'm not closing the door, and I don't want anybody debunking for me. I will do my own debunking, thanks. Download this PDF file that I told you about. Take one chapter each day until you've finished the 432-page book, because it's an interesting read, and a lot of it can be copied and put on an automatic reader, so you sit back and watch the words appear on your screen. As I said many times before, I use Bala Bolka and Read Please 2003. They are two automatic readers, and there are many more. The PDF file is made by Adobe, and they have a built-in automatic reader. Go to the View menu and activate Read Aloud. And if all you have is Microsoft Mary and Microsoft Mike, then you can have it read in a male or female voice. I prefer the AT&T voices, and Audrey is the one I like the most. And you can have English accent if you want to imagine yourself royalty, or imagine yourself in with the Queen. But this 432-page book would be nothing to read with an automatic reader. And you get a chance then to examine the wisdom of these highly evolved aliens. What else do you need? You got the PDF file, you got the automatic reader. The only thing else you need is time, and I'm not sure you have it, frankly. You need time to read it all. I don't know how many jobs you're working. You might be working 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 jobs just to make ends meet, because they are determined to keep us too poor to protest their Nazi regime, too poor to have any time to do any research, and then they fluoridate your water to make sure you're dumbed down. If what these aliens are telling us is true, you don't have time for all those things that you thought were important. Ball games and beer are just a waste of your precious time as we approach the 10 of 10 that the Zetas have been telling us about. And I think as time moves on, you're going to find fewer and fewer people who are willing to use up precious time to watch a ball game. They want to stock up on everything they can, and they think they're going to survive on the surface with 300-mile-an-hour winds and a hail of 70-pound iron rocks falling on them. 70 pounds and larger and smaller. The average is 70 pounds. If you get hit with a 2-pound rock traveling 10 kilometers a second, you're dead. It will set your house on fire because it'll be hot, maybe thousands of degrees hot, and it'll set wood and paper and anything else that's flammable on fire. So money in the bank is useless, and the government knows it. And they don't want you to rush over to the bank and pull out all your money and turn that cash into something useful like a can of soup or a bottle of water. Because when you pull money out of the bank collapses. Because they have done something terrible. You put in $100 and they lent out $900 because of fractional reserve banking. And when you pull out $100, they have to call in $900 in loans because they can no longer stay in good standing with the Federal Reserve unless they have adequate reserves. And when you pull out $100, they've got to call in $900 in loans, or else they're in trouble. Now, I think what's going to happen is everybody's going to rush to the bank and put their money into goods on the shelves. And when that happens, the banking system will collapse, the real estate market will collapse, and all businesses will collapse at the same time. It'll be terrible. So the faster you rush off and pull all your money out of the bank, the faster the whole system collapses. It's already on the verge of collapse. The entire economic system of the West is on the verge of collapse. Those people in high places know what's coming. And if they tell you, they can't sell you their house on the beach. And the last thing they want is for a dirtbag to know the truth. Even after escrow closes, they still don't want you to know that you've been had. The bankers don't ever want you to know that Nibiru is real if it is. And if you look out the window and you see it as big as a full moon, and you tell yourself, what's that? There's something going on here. They're going to give you a believable lie, and most of the dumb people are going to believe it. Betelgeuse is in supernova, and that's what you're seeing. Or they're going to tell you that it's a projected image, and they're testing a hologram. And for the next 6 weeks, you will see this thing in the sky getting bigger and bigger. That's a baloney story. Don't let them pull that on you, piano head. When they tell you that the image is projected, tell them to project this. I would rather trust the Zetas than my own government, because I've gotten truth from the Zetas, and all I ever got from government was lies and propaganda. We don't need a government that misleads us or tries to control our lives with inoculations, medications, and violations of the Constitution. When the government has gone that far, it's time to dispose of the Nazi regime and get rid of the fascists who no longer represent the people. Am I making sense? We don't need a Congress when we have the internet and the people can easily represent themselves. Let's take a vote. Do you want a war with a country that's no threat to us? Of course not. Do you want to spend $2 trillion on that war? No! Even with fluoridated water, I can answer no with confidence. Our economy is so bad that 50 million of our people are on food stamps. Why would we want to spend $2 trillion on a war against a country that's no threat to us? For the oil? For the Queen? No thanks. Let the Queen go get her own oil. Who wants these wars? Those who are making a killing from the bloodshed. We have to take back the power of voting for ourselves by spreading the truth that Congress does not serve us. And these corrupt and controlling individuals will spend not only your last cent, but they'll spend your children's future and their children's future as well. They have no conscience. And if you expect them to be responsible and tell you that Planet X is coming in and it's going to cause plate shifts and earthquakes and volcanoes and global warming and weird weather and sinkholes, forget it. They're not going to tell you that. That's never going to happen, because as soon as they tell you, you're going to default on your beachfront home. And everyone inland from the coast 100 miles will abandon their homes too. They'll be moving to Missouri. And those powerful bankers will have a lot of defaults on their hands. And they don't need it. They want you to stay right where you are until the crust will shift and the 300-mile-an-hour winds that come in and blow everything away. Then they will come out of their underground bunkers and rebuild. They have all the seeds in the seed vault in Norway. Did you hear about this? There are 110,000 web pages that tell you about it if you haven't heard. The URL is on the screen now. It's a pretty simple search. I used the advanced search, and on the top line I typed Norway, and on the second line, Seed Vault. Instead of copying this long URL, just go to the top line of the advanced search and type Norway. On the second line, type Seed Vault as a phrase. And you'll get 110,000 web pages from Google Advanced Search. That's what I found. Why did they rush to build Svalbard? It's called Svalbard, S-V-A-L-B-A-R-D, Svalbard. Why did they rush to build this global seed vault? There's only one reason. They know something and you don't, because you're a dirtbag to them. You don't need to know. If they want you to know anything, they'll tell you. Until then, you just keep paying the IRS taxes so the rich can have a good life. They're the parasites and you're the slave. They built the underground bunkers all over the USA, and they put seeds in the seed vault for the aftertime. Now, does that tell you anything? Does that suggest that there is a Planet X and it's not a myth? The Zetas want you to know the truth, and so they're telling you Planet X is real. I'm not telling you that. They are. And they've given you a sequence of events, and Nancy Lieder brought them to you out of the kindness of her heart. I'm grateful to her and to them for doing that. And I don't want to believe this any more than you do. And if you don't like what you find on this channel, find another channel where they don't talk about Planet X and the pole shift. And stop wasting your time here. Make yourself happy with another channel, and we'll all be happy too, just to see you go. This channel is for those who are still asking questions and looking into this, and they know about the seed vault and the volcanoes and the earthquakes and the sinkholes and the personal testimony of those who watched Planet X coming in for decades with their CIA buddies on the Hubble Space Telescope. And we think that there's something ominous happening, and we want to pursue it. And if you don't, then get out. There's no gun to your head here. Find a different channel. But if you're here because you're curious and you want to know, I'm telling you, the Zetas have a lot of information for you, and Nancy Lieder has spent thousands of hours preparing this information, and all you have to do is go to zetatalk.com and read it. And don't let any government do your debunking for you, the way they debunked 9/11. And then they stopped answering your questions because you were getting too close to the truth and they wanted to shut you up. How did Building 7 come down? No plane hit it. It's the smoking gun. Why isn't government answering our questions? Because they have something to hide. What about Planet X? Is it yet another lie, another cover-up like the JFK assassination? Why can't we ever get the truth? Maybe there's a better way to organize a civilization than to have corrupt politicians and greedy profiteers taking us astray instead of leading us to victory. I'm in favor of change, and the public voted for change, and what did we get? We got Obama? Did he turn out to be the change we sought? He's more of the same. Most people say he's just like the one before him, and we're all disappointed. And so we go to the polls thinking that we're electing a president by selecting the lesser of two evils once again. And what do we get when we get finished? Evil again. Because the lesser of two evils is still evil. You're going to get a carbon tax. Not because carbon dioxide from car exhaust is causing the planet to heat up. That's a lie. The Earth is heating up from the core. Has nothing to do with the atmosphere or carbon dioxide. It has to do with all of the planets heating up and all of the moons heating up. They're all heating up. You didn't know that because Al Gore forgot to tell you. It was inconvenient for him to tell you the truth. Besides, he invested a big wad of money in the companies that are going to charge you the carbon tax, and he's intending to profit from your stupidity. But people are not that stupid. They're doing the homework, and they're finding out that it's all lies. It's harder and harder to find scientists who believe in Al Gore's global warming theory. And then they dignify these lies with a Nobel Prize? The Earth is heating up from the core, and so are all the planets and moons in our solar system. Why is that? Do you know? What would explain why Mars is heating up? Are there cars on Mars? Pluto is heating up. Way out there on the fringes of the solar system, Pluto is heating up. Are there cars on Pluto? Where is Al Gore, and why didn't he tell us that Pluto is heating up from the core? Because he invested in the company that's going to be making a killing from the carbon tax. And he doesn't want you to know the truth, no matter how convenient it is. He doesn't want to let the cat out of the bag. He wouldn't be able to profit from his lies. Some people think he's the world's greatest scientist. He's not even a scientist. They give him a Nobel Prize for telling lies. The infestation of control and corruption has even compromised the Nobel Prize awards, and Obama got one and Hillary too. I want to vomit when I hear about these awards. Of all the most undeserving of people, they give it to Obama, Al Gore, and Hillary. This was once a great award. They have trashed it. It's like someone pooping in your swimming pool. That's the way I feel about the Nobel Prize. Somebody pooped in the swimming pool. I consider Al Gore, Hillary, and Obama 3 large turds in the swimming pool, and flies all around. This shows you how far this has all gone and how badly we need change. And the change has to come from spreading the truth, not by guns, because they have us outgunned. And the aliens blame all of us for the direction we are headed in, when actually it's just a handful of greedy and corrupt individuals who care nothing about our planet or our civilization. They can't see past the nose on their faces, and they think of you as a useless eater, not even realizing that they feed off us. We are the host dirtbag, and once we're gone, they're going to have to work for a living. It's the end of the free ride. And they're not smart enough to figure that out? How many do they plan to save in these underground cities? I did not get a ticket. I was joking. You didn't get a ticket either, because you're a dirtbag to them. Meanwhile, it's a matter of time before one of these alien groups takes a look at our planet and the way we're running things here, and makes the decision to push the button and take us all out like a sniper pit. Boom! There goes the Earth. And the universe is better off without us because of a handful of corrupt leaders? No, folks, we have to do something, and spreading the truth is the defense that'll work, peacefully making the changes. If we don't do it, we don't deserve to live. If a cataclysm takes place on this planet, which alien group is going to save us? Nobody wants us to survive, because they believe that if one person has smallpox and dies, he dies with the smallpox, and he's buried in the ground, and that's the end of the spread of smallpox. That's the way they think. We don't want your kind multiplying in this beautiful universe because we only want to see the best survive. You guys don't make it. Don't feel bad because 999 out of 1,000 don't make it, and we're glad to see them go too. What do they do when they have a herd of cattle and one gets sick? They pull him out of the crowd. They don't want him infecting the others. And that's the way they look at planet Earth. We are a disease to be eliminated. And so if a cataclysm comes to this planet, none of them want to save us. We need to change our leadership before the cataclysm if we have any time to do so. So I recommend that everybody get on board here and start spreading the truth any way you can to save us. The leadership of this planet is the Queen and the Committee of 300, if you want to know the truth. That's the Illuminati. The Queen and the Committee of 300. These are the parasites who take advantage of everyone else. They are the ones who cause the wars and benefit from the wars. They are the ones who own everything. The Queen owns the United States, and it's been coming out more and more with YouTube videos. In the beginning, I was shocked to hear it. I thought all she owned was Washington, D.C., She owns the whole country and all the slaves. You are a property of hers. She owns you just like slaves. Now how are we going to change that? The truth first. When the people know the truth, they're going to give up this idea of royalty, and they're going to put the royalty in prison where they belong. They are the useless eaters. We are the ones who deserve to live. They deserve to be in prison. Because the truth is the opposite of what you've been told. They are not royalty. They are parasites. We are hard-working, beer-drinking, deserving individuals who love ball games and pizza, and my favorite kind of beer is draft beer, because it hasn't been pasteurized, and it still has the natural sweetness and the effervescence from the yeast and the carbon dioxide. Yes, carbon dioxide is part of that process too. And when beer is boiled, it destroys the carbon dioxide, the natural effervescence, and so they recarbonate it with artificial carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is not poison. Formaldehyde is poison, and they put that in your beer, canned beer and bottled beer, to prevent spoilage when it's on a truck and it's 100 degrees outside. Formaldehyde is poison, and it kills anything that grows in your beer, and when you drink it, it pickles your brain. That's why I like unpasteurized beer. It comes in kegs, and you keep it refrigerated, and you should know by now that bottled and canned beer has preservatives, about 99 of them, which cause cancer and destroy the brain. Additives like formaldehyde. You don't want to drink formaldehyde. So all you beer-drinking dirtbags out there should switch to keg beer. We should have a party. When you go to a ball game, bring your kegs with you, and they'll throw your ass out. Because you're not allowed to bring beer. They make a killing off that beer there. And then they sell you rotten hot dogs, and they make a killing off of those too. But what are you going to do? Bring your own? Sneak it in? You'll get relish on your shirt. So if they throw you out of the ball game, you go home and tend to more important things like the pole shift and planning for the big event that's coming, according to the Zetas. I'm not a space alien, and neither is Nancy, but she has friends from space, and she has many experiences with them to tell her that she can trust them. I think you ought to listen to her and stop listening to those who debunk things for you, because if you do your own debunking, then you will know with certainty what the truth is. To your own satisfaction, anyway. Because your own mind works fine, and it's time for you to mind your own business. And stop letting people poison your brain with rat poison, fluorine, and various fluoride compounds. When someone tells you that something has been debunked, tell them that you'll do the debunking around here, and that they should go about their business and let you study the facts and the testimonies of those who have interesting things to say, like Nancy Leader. I have followed her for years, and I'm not disappointed. I followed Drake for a few months, and I'm already disappointed in him and his empty promises. Nobody is going to pass out free money to slaves, and Nasara is the real hoax, not Planet X. The proof is not in the pudding, because it's not about pudding. The proof is in the video views. When I do a video on Planet X, the views are just amazing. The number of people who show up to see it. People know that something is up. They're not as stupid as the royalty think. I think royalty is stupid just because they are foolish enough to think that they are royal. Nobody is royal. Nobody's more royal than me and you, and they think we are nothing but dirt bags. We don't deserve to live. Well, I see it the other way around. Those who want to murder us are the ones who don't deserve to live. And I'm sick of their corrupt leadership and their service to self mentality. This will lead to the extinction of our species, and rightfully so. Why do we deserve to live? We need to stop cooperating with the corrupt leaders. And we will only achieve that by getting the word out and spreading the resistance and the protest in a nonviolent way. All you guys out there who are buying guns at the rate of 5 million firearms per month, this is not the solution. They will blow your ass away. They have SWAT teams trained to kill, And for these guys, it's like hunting. Did you ever see a pack of dogs all excited about a fox hunt? Howling and jumping around? They just can't wait to rip that fox apart. That's the way the SWAT team looks at you, you dirtbag. And the military behave just like those dogs before they go hunting foxes. They go out looking for the bad guys and they want to blow them away. They love the sport of hunting and killing, and they don't give a rat's ass about you. You are nothing but a dirtbag to them. You're not an honest citizen trying to survive in this world, raise a family and have some fun. You're a dirtbag, and they want to have a sport in killing you. They work for the Illuminati and they don't even realize what they're doing. You have to reach these people and wake them up. The video is the best way. Yesterday, I reached 4,600 people, and my monthly count is 115,000. And my numbers are hovering right around 4,600 a day. And my monthly count is hovering between 100 and 115,000 a month. Not bad for a guy who came here just to reach 10 people a day. Get a channel and find the truth. Spread the truth, because it poisons the well of the ruling elite. The last thing they want out is the truth, because it undermines their tightly controlled slavery system. You can destroy and foul that system with Rochambeau, as the Chinese call it. We call it rock, paper, scissors. Truth beats propaganda and lies. Truth defeats nuclear weapons because you have to have somebody to launch them. And if those individuals refuse to do it for the bastards who order them to do it, then the bastards can't launch the nuclear weapons against us. If the military refuses to fight any more of their wars for them, there goes their war machine. If the police refuse to punch unarmed women in the face and arrest those who protest the civil violations by the elite class, then maybe the Constitution has a chance. But we will win this war with truth, not guns. If you're playing the Rochambeau game and you pick scissors and the other guy picks scissors, the guy with the biggest scissors wins. In real life, but not in Rochambeau, it's a tie. In real life, if you pick weapons and your enemy picks weapons, they'll blow your ass away, dirtbag. You're going to lose. So if you want to play this ancient Chinese game to win, you must understand the concept, Rochambeau. Each is a winner against the other, but not both. Each is a loser against one, but not both. Truth is the choice that beats nuclear weapons and military power. Truth is the poison that kills the enemy. I don't have any more time today, and I've made my point. Here's the link to Nancy Lieder's July 8th, 2012 newsletter, and all the others as well. The most recent will always be on top. Always remember this, my friend. You are a dirtbag. Thanks for watching. That's at least 3 miles high, like that insider said. Look, Planet X can't be here if the Queen hasn't moved all of her prized possessions underground, can it? She already moved everything? When? Why didn't anyone tell me? I need to know these things. We must be close now. What is Nancy Lieder saying about the pole shift? Oh my God, look at the crop circles. Wait a minute, something's weird about them. They don't look right. Look there at the lower right, it says they're all fakes. Where are the real crop circles? Ah, that's more like it. Look at the green one in the middle. Is that Planet X or what? Look at the ball on the wings. Is there one that depicts Planet X growing in size? There it is. That's what I want to see. Are these days or weeks? There are 60 of them. Are they showing us the last 60 days or the last 60 weeks? Is that the sun in the middle or the earth and the moon? Who drew these and why do they look so much better than the fake ones? Look, there's a gap in the stream of balls. Oh, I see. It's a green path there. You devil, you. That's Nibiru. Hey, debunkers, debunk this. What do you think? These aliens have nothing better to do than fly way out here on the fringes of this Milky Way galaxy to draw pictures in wheat fields? This is not a game. These aliens are serious. They know we're toast. All those on the coast will roast the most when the sun locks onto the Atlantic Rift and bakes New York City in noonday sun for 3 days. You'll have the sun's rays and Nibiru's rays. And 1/3 of the earth will be scorched, just like it says in prophecy. All you naysayers out there were saying, "Please don't say it, I don't want to face it. Say something positive for God's sake." Okay, how about this? When the big wave comes in, it'll be 3 miles high. You can run for cover, but you're still gonna die. The end is near, so stock up on beer. The elite have bunkers for the perverts and the old hags, but useless eaters are not invited because you're a dirtbag. I have my ticket and I'm gonna be saved. We'll have lots of fresh fruits and all the things you crave. Paid for by your taxes because you're nothing but a slave. Be sure to let us know when you see the big wave. Some of us tried to warn you, but you missed all the cues. We told you to stock up and now you have the blues. The country they live in. Is it the fluoride? Talk about a Teflon brain. Look up Teflon, it's made of fluorine. From the earth, an object coming in from the direction of Orion. Orion is a constellation. That's where you find Orion's belt. 3 stars right in the middle at the waist area. Alnitak, Alnilam, and Mantaka. When that object is coming in, it's a moving target. And when the Earth is going around the sun, it's a moving target, and the path is going to look a little bit weird. It will appear in different spots over the years. And here is an image to show you where it was and when it was there. Can you see it? Okay, it's very near now, and we are about 70% of the way through this cataclysm. And soon it will pass, and you can use your ticket to the underground bunkers to save your butt. What? You didn't get yours? There must be some mistake. Everyone got one. You didn't get your ticket to the underground bunker? Well, I'll be an alien's cousin. I wonder why you didn't get yours. I got mine. Did you say something bad about the fascist government? Did you pay your taxes? Was there anything in your emails derogatory about the government? You are voting for Obama or Romney, aren't you? Gotta pick the lesser of 2 evils. Well, if you promise to be a good slave and pay the IRS, I'll see what I can do for you. I'll talk to Drake. He has friends in high places. This July 4th, you're going to see some real fireworks. Oh, wait. July 4th has already passed. Did you see anything unusual? Me neither. Okay, forget about Drake. I know. I'll send Benjamin Fulford an email. He knows people at the Pentagon, the CIA. He knows the Queen, too. She offered him a $1,200 trillion bond. Honest. His friends are in the Dragons. That's an Asian gang. They have 100,000 assassins ready to kick butt. He called them off. Honest. Don't worry, you'll get a ticket to the underground, even if I have to play the Trump card and call Donald Trump. Even if I have to apologize for saying, "You're fired. You're fired." Look, we'll get you a ticket to the deep underground base, and you'll be free from disaster. Mark my word, before that tsunami comes in, you'll have your ticket. You'll be safer than a queen in her castle. That is, unless there's a tsunami wave coming in as dumb as you think. You bunch of Nazis. Since NASA controls all these publicly funded astronomical devices, the last thing you're ever going to get from them is the truth. So don't shift your rants when you look up in the sky and see something the size of a full moon, because I'm telling you about the Zeta Talk newsletter, which has been putting out real news for several years, and is public enemy number 3, right behind Julian Assange and Bradley Manning, because the truth must not be told to anyone. When the government wants you to know something, they will tell you. Until then, go to work and keep paying the IRS because you are a slave. Yeah, dirtbag. What do you think this is anyway? I'm going to link you up with the free newsletter, and if you want to go there, you can. And if you want to stick around and hear my slandering, blistering, caustic, and accusational attack on the Queen and her minions, then grab a chair and let's get on with the show, shall we? We've been talking about Planet X, and I've been saying, why panic unless you see it in the sky? If it's real, you're going to be seeing it real soon. And don't believe any of this garbage from Obama that it's Beetlejuice going supernova, because that's about as believable as his fake birth certificate or his love for our country. He might love Kenya, but I don't think he loves our country, the USA, or our people, the Americans. Not by all the executive orders he's been signing. Each one circumvents Congress and the people, and we don't like it one bit. NASA is one arm of this regime, and we don't like being lied to about Planet X either. If it's not there, why in the hell did you airbrush it out of the Soho pictures? Why did you order Google Earth to remove it from their sky images? Did you think that would arouse any suspicion, you stupid Nazis? Is it there? Tell us the truth. The Zetas are telling us that Planet X is real, and they have a lot of pictures to prove it. They have the chutzpah to publish an image showing the path that it has taken from a moving planet. That moving planet would be the Earth, dirtbags, if you haven't figured out which planet you're on. Read a book once in a while, okay? One dirtbag says, Earth, I've heard of it, but I don't know where it is. Did you ever watch Jay Leno on the streets interviewing common people? Some of these people don't know who the puppet president is or what you relied upon your leaders to bring you the latest news. They forgot to warn the people. That's too bad. You lose. Let's focus on the image for a minute while I explain something. When you were a kid, maybe you rode on the merry-go-round. That's like the Earth going around the sun. It's like a merry-go-round. And on the merry-go-round, the kid watches his parents. They're in one position watching their kid to make sure he doesn't fall off like a dirtbag. So, as a kid, you went around the merry-go-round and you watched your parents, and you noticed they kept changing position. Every time you change position, they change positions relative to you. If you were moving around a focal point, your parents' position appeared to change. But it didn't, really, because they were standing in one place. Now, Planet X is not your parents. It's a constellation, perhaps, a blazing hot star and 7 planets, as the insider who watched it on Nibiru reports. And we have to consider that first-hand testimony. It's valid in court, whereas hearsay is not. He says, I watched it. And he says it was millions of degrees. He says it was a star and 7 planets and 1 trillion dust particles. Now this thing is coming in, and you're going around the merry-go-round. Is the position of Planet X going to change? It's going to change for 2 reasons. Because the Earth is moving around the sun, and because the object itself, whatever it is coming in. So when you look at this map, be realistic. This is not a hoax. These aliens are telling us this is the path. When you look at a picture of the path, and you take into account that the object itself is moving, it's changing its position, and the Earth and our perspective is also changing our position, you have to process this in your brain. Now, your brain is pretty amazing, but not if they put fluoride in your drinking water. That poisons your brain and you can't think clearly. That's why Jay Leno's interviews reveal a very dumbed-down American population. people who don't even know who the puppet president is or which country they live in. We have a president who doesn't even know that there are 50 states. He thinks there are 53. He's counting Puerto Rico, Guam, and Israel. So don't drink government water. And don't drink bottled water because it came from the same faucets. Fluoridate.
I'm going to have to advise you not to believe what you hear tonight, or from any other source for that matter, at any time. Listen to everyone, read everything, believe nothing unless you can prove it in your own research.
12. On Sundays, Nancy Leader publishes the Zeta Talk free newsletter for all those interested. And unlike the socialist security system where there's a gun to your head and you are forced to participate, there's no gun to your head to read anything on Nancy's website. But if you do, there's a reward. You might know the truth for a change. This week is particularly interesting because she publishes the path of Planet X, Nibiru, Wormwood, Nemesis, the Destroyer, whatever you call this blazing hot star with 7 planets that looks like a comet with wings. This week you're going to get a chance to see the path. Planet X has been showing up on Soho Images, and NASA doesn't know how to deal with it. They've been airbrushing it out, and it keeps coming back like a persistent yeast infection, which makes husbands annoyed. Now, if they're airbrushing it out, is it because it's not there or because it is there? You decide. It's hard to make a Soho image look natural when you have tampered with it. Some people know that you've been altering the images. Soho is the Stereo-Optical Telescope, or Solar and Heliospheric Observatory. It watches the sun with a pair of binoculars, giving it binocular vision, which means you can tell the distance of something just by the difference in the two perspectives. Now, they've been publishing Soho images for quite a while, and they've been airbrushing them for quite a while too. But sometimes they make mistakes, and they allow you to see something they don't want you to see, something that is not there because they airbrushed it out. Now, if it's not there, why did they airbrush it out? That's what I'm asking. Google takes a big chunk of the sky out of the image that you see. Why? Some stars are cut in half, shining brightly on one half and obviously black on the other side, meaning that the whole frame has been altered. Why? If it's not there, why did you cut it out of the picture? Maybe it is there. You know, we can figure stuff out. We're not